isn't working. Hey, what do you hear, what do you say? My Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, your sister's ass, the Pony Express. A very ticked off Vic here. You know what ticks me off? The nuts are running the nuthouse. Here is my 2 cents on a subject that I feel pretty strongly about, and so does most of America, apparently. If you think I'm getting too political, like my mother used to say, go scratch your ass. I'm not getting political. I'm about to give you my opinion and issue, and most people agree with me. Pretend you're an employer for a second, and some of your employees are a problem. They seem great when you hired them, but the reality is they don't do shit, and they aren't capable of doing the job that you hired them to do, even though they said they could do it. They even went as far as to stop listening to you, the boss. And they started doing some fucked up shit like taking money from your customers and doing the opposite of what you asked them to do. And all they wanted to do was keep their own jobs. It's like their job became to keep their job. That's it. They couldn't give a shit about you or your company. And then these employees said, oh, and by the way, I want a raise. Now stop right there. What would most of us do to those employees? I'm pretty sure we would say, hey, go fuck yourselves. You're fired. But this is exactly what's happening to the American taxpayer. The first 3 words in our Constitution are, we the people. Those words are even written larger than any other words. Why? Because this republic was designed to be of, by, and for the people. We the people are the employers. All elected officials are the employees. They work for us. Now hold that thought for a minute, if you can. When I started listening to the arguments for and against term limits for elected officials, I honestly didn't know which was better. Term limits or letting someone keep getting elected over and over again for their entire life. On the one hand, I could argue that someone who has term limits is going to try to do as many illegal things as possible to make as much money as possible, because they won't have much time to accomplish this in office if there are term limits. Maybe term limits would actually be a bad thing, I could argue. And then I thought, well, if people stay elected for their entire lives, like McConnell and Pelosi and Grassley and Schumer and the rest of the fucking lifers in both parties, then maybe they wouldn't be tempted to do any shady shit because they had job security. But then I realized that the temptation to get money from lobbyists and make laws that help your friends and yourself is just never ending. So I finally realized we do need term limits, because if we're going to have a crook in office, we need to be able to get them the hell out as soon as their term is over, whether the people voted for them or not. At least term limits gives us a chance to have change, because the way it's working now, it isn't working. And I'm not alone in this thinking either. Get this, 82% of Americans want term limits, 82%. That includes 89% of Republicans, 76% of Democrats, and 83% of independents. We the people want term limit by an overwhelming majority. This is not a left or a right issue. This is an American issue. So if literally most of we the people want this, why isn't it getting done? All of these elected ghouls work for us. Why aren't they doing what we want? Here's why. Because the system is broken. We the people want change. Ladies and gentlemen, the nuts are running the nuthouse. Did you know that congressional incumbents, meaning people already in Congress, have a 98% re-election rate? 98%! They're almost guaranteed to be re-elected over and over and over again. You know why? Go Google it. The people in Congress have voted to give themselves certain advantages that make it easier for them to get re-elected. It's that simple. Again, the nuts are running the nuthouse. Benjamin Franklin said, the people are the superiors and the rulers are the servants. It's why elected officials are called public servants. Stop calling them leaders. They are elected by us, and they need to serve us. Step back and think about what the majority of the people really want in this country. Stop being distracted by all the bullshit. Here's the fucking bottom line. Over 80% of Americans want term limits to happen. And who are the ones blocking what we the people want? The ones we elected to put in term limits in the first place. That's who. This is the very definition of insanity. It's time to bring the gravy train into the station once and for all and end these career politicians and give Congress back to the people once and for all. The nuts are running the fucking nut house. That's what ticks me off.